Hello, my crafty friends. Today we will be creating a 4th of July easel card that I designed specifically for the members of the Paper Arts and Memories Club, of which I am a member. This is our first video card class in what we hope will become a series. It is geared toward all skill levels using minimal, so without further ado, let's get started. Here is what you're going to need. Today's card is going to be a very simple 4th of July easel card. An easel card stands up, can be easily seen from any place. Also folds down to make a standard A2 card, which is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. This size is a standard card size and easy to find envelopes for. This card requires a standard card base, which is 5 1/2 by 8 1/2. I'm going to show you exactly how to cut that. This card is exactly half of an 8 1/2 by 11 piece of cardstock. I'm going to put it in the trimmer. Going to find the 5 1/2 inch mark. With your trimmer, you're always going to work as if you were left-handed or working from the left. So right here is the 5 1/2 inch mark. I'm going to put this arm down. I'm going to make my cut, and I have 2 card bases. The next step for this card is to score it. I'm using a regular scoreboard. I'm going to put my paper in on the 8 1/2 inch side. I'm going to find the 4 1/4, which is exactly half of the card base. I'm going to make a score line at 4 1/4. Now remember, when you do this, you want to have your long side at the top. Score at 4 1/4. Then you're going to score again at 2 1/8, which is exactly half of 4 1/4. For those of you who are fraction challenged, you're going to find the 2 inch mark, you're going to move over 1 mark, which is 2 1/8, and you're going to score it once more. Then you're going to remove that base, turn the card base over. Now if you're using a card that has 2 sides, you're going to have to decide which side you want on the top. Since this is white on both sides, it isn't going to matter. But what you want to do is find the side that has the raised score line. And contrary to most beliefs, you want to fold the card into the raised portion. You want to fold this one in half. If you don't have a scoreboard, just fold the card in half. Press it down with your bone folder. If you don't have that, just give it a good press. Then the other mark you want to fold again, which is exactly half. So if you don't have the scoreboard and you haven't scored it, what you're going to do is fold it in half. You're going to open it up, and then you're going to score it in half again. So you have 2 score marks. Alright, we're going to put that aside. That's our card base. But we also need some other panels. So for our card today, we need a panel that is, I made mine a blue. You can make yours any way you like. But if you're making yours exactly like mine, you're going to have a blue panel that is 5 1/2 by 4 1/4. Then you're going to have a red panel that is 5 1/4 by 4. So that's going to go on there with just an 1/8 of an inch border around the outside. Then you're going to have to cut some 1/2 inch strips to make the stripes on the stars. And I'm going to give you a little hint on how to do that in just a minute. Then you're going to need another panel that is 2 1/8 by 4 1/4. Then finally you're going to need a little piece of blue for the top of the flag that is 2 inches by 1 1/2. I also used some sparkly cardstock. I used gold, but if you don't happen to have any glittered cardstock, just use something gold. You can either put glitter on it yourself, use glitter glue, or Wink Costello will work as well. Okay, for those of you who do not have a paper trimmer, you need to mark every 1/2 inch on each side, make the line, and cut your paper into strips. You want 5 1/2 inch strips like this. Mine are a little bit long, but we're just going to trim them off. But the easy way to do that, if you have a paper trimmer, is to put your paper in, make sure that it's square, find out how wide this one is. Okay, right now we're at 5.5. So we're measuring up here, we're at 5.5. So we want a 1/2 inch strip, we're going to move it down to 5. We're going to put it right there. We're going to cut. We're going to have a 1/2 inch strip. Now we're going to move to 4.5. Place it down. Okay, now we're going to move to 4. Place it down, cut. You're going to do this until you have 5 strips. Easy peasy. Now we're going to start to assemble our card. And for that, you can use any kind of adhesive you have. You're going to see me use a couple different kinds for this project, but mostly a tape runner. But if you prefer to use glue, that's your choice. I'm going to start out by using the small piece of the red. This is the 2 1/8 by 4 1/4. I'm going to put your cardstock down so that your folds are up like this. Okay. Now I'm going to put adhesive on the back of my red piece. Okay, I like to work from this side. You might want to work from the top. That's entirely up to you. But you want to line it up, making sure that you have, this is the top of your card. So you're going to put it on the inside bottom. This is a decorative piece. You want to line it up on the corners just as exact as you can get it. They should match up just quite nicely. You're going to stick it down. Okay, so far so good. We're just going to put that aside. We're going to take our our red piece, and we're going to lay it out horizontally. Now, I'm going to add the white strips for the flag. Now, mine are too long, so I'm just going to put some tape runner right down one. I'm going to line that up along the bottom edge so it gets on there nice and straight. Right along the bottom. Okay, perfect. Now you can see it is too long, but we'll just trim that off at a later time. Not a problem whatsoever. Now, take one of your extra 1/2 inch strips, place it on top of that one. This way you're going to get perfect spacing. Everything's going to look just right. I'm going to put some adhesive on the next strip. Now, I'm going to hold that down just like that, and then I'm going to line this up on top of here. So you don't, the one in between is still loose. It's just there for a guide. I'm going to put that along there. Now, when we remove the centerpiece that was the guide, whoops, we have them nice and even and straight. Now you're going to continue to do that until you have all 5 strips on. I'm going to speed up the film right here because this is like watching glue dry. You get the idea. Whoops. Got it a little crooked there. Okay, now we got it. Okay. All right, we're all good. Now we have our stripes on our flag. We're going to turn it over, trim it off. All right. Push that all aside. Okay, so now we have our flag. Now, next I want to take my little, my blue piece. I'm going to turn this piece over that has the stripes on it. I'll put my adhesive on there. the tricky part. Line it up on the blue piece. Want to try to get the border as even as possible. It's not an exact science, so don't get excited over the little stuff. If it's not perfect, nobody's really going to know the difference. Okay, so now we have that added on. Now we're going to put our little corner on. That goes right up here. Okay, there we go. Now, if you are a realist, of course this is not going to look like a real flag, but that's okay. Now, what's going to happen next is we're going to turn our, you have your panel here, so you want to turn it over to the other side. Now, you're going to put adhesive right here in this first section. You don't want to go past this crease mark. And you want to put adhesive on there because it is the smallest section. Now what you want to do is turn it again and line it up just like this, getting your corners matched up. This panel is exactly the same size as the card front, so you want to line it up carefully. Press it down. Now you can see what happens with an easel card is only half of it is glued down, and that's what you want. So what's going to happen now is your card is going to close just like this, and then it's going to be able to open and stand up right here just like it's supposed to when we get something to put a stop to it right there. I'll be right back. Okay, now I added my stars already just so you could see. You may want to just place your stars anywhere you want. You have artistic freedom. You don't have to make yours exactly like mine. You can find, you may have a star punch, a star die, or you might be able to find some star clip art, print it, cut it out in the sizes that you want from the paper that you like. That's entirely up to you. Now, earlier I printed out Happy 4th of July on my computer so that I would be able to make it into a banner and put on my card. So what I did for that, I will show you. I printed out several of them. I already used one for my sample card, so I'm going to put this right over here. I put it in your trimmer, mark it where you want. I liked mine about 1 inch. Trim it off, turn it around. Well, maybe not turn it around. Okay, so now I'm going to move it up so that this is right where I want it. So I want it right about 1 inch. Okay, so for mine, what I did to make a little banner end of it, I cut, whoops. I cut it out here, oh, maybe 1/2 inch, maybe a little more. So cut it off where you want it. Make a little clip right in the center, and then take your scissors and go from the corner to the end of your clip, however deep you want it, for your little fishtail banner. And you're going to turn it over, do the same thing on the other side. So there you have your little fishtail. Then wherever you like it over here, you just want to cut that off, trim it off. Okay, now I raised mine up with some double-sided tape. You can use dimensionals, whatever you need to pop it up. You even could put a couple stacks of paper underneath there just to lift up. But what you want is this to lift up so that it stops the card. Now this is my sample card. I haven't put it in this. This is the one I'm making right now, but I haven't put it in this one yet. But I'm going to show you right here. Once I had it cut, I put double foam tape in there, so it's raised up a little bit, and that's all there is to it. Just put it in there. Okay, so there you have it. I hope you've enjoyed it. I've enjoyed my time with you. See you next time. Bye-bye.